Welcome to Talking Over Albums, Talking Over Van Halen, episode 83. We're doing... what's left?
I don't know.
Let's do their most... Let's do... No, three.
Do we in 1984 yet? Because you wanted to have some notes for that.
Yeah, what's left is 1, Diver Down, 1984, Balance, and 3.
What we need to do is like a Skid Row album. Like, remember Skid Row? Is that what it was called?
You have to do the brunt of the talking because I don't know anything about hair metal.
I don't know anything about it, but I can vamp.
All right, Skid Row.
First album? Is it the first one, or are you doing Master and Slave? Because that's the only two worth knowing about.
Skid Row, Slave to the Grind.
Slave to the Grind. Do that one.
All right.
I know a little bit about that one. Tell me what year it came out.
1991.
Okay.
Start talking.
Welcome to Talking Over Albums. We are going to do Skid Row, Slave to the Grind. And if you know what it is, you're going to know what it is. So I don't really know what else to tell you. But I know it's not very long.
It's too long. 47 minutes.
I'll tell you where to skip. I love how they start off with the first song with the cowbell. This is like the last album they did where his voice wasn't roached. Like it was gravelly but not roached. This is the time period when everybody was trying to figure out, where do I fit in? Because grunge was starting to ramp up. And all the metal bands had been making money just throwing out whatever bullshit. And I didn't even like Skid Row that much until this album came out. And I thought they threw a little more into it. Like the lyrics are a little bit better. Like they were trying to do something more than just hair metal ballads and crap and making the easy money. That's my honest opinion. My smart-ass opinion is, these guys, they were from LA. They all know what everybody's listening to. And they just do whatever the hell they want to, right? They just, like, this is popular because women like to shake their boobs to it, and that's it. You know, that's the end of it.
I like any music that sounds like a dude using his dick to ring a cowbell. Cowbell.
Well, when you've been drinking and you show up at some joint and they're playing a band or whatever, some band's going on there. Yeah, that's what you want. You want like beats, and you want the drummer to be good because the ladies want to dance, and all they really want is the beat to hang their hat on. And
was this before or after Paradise City?
After.
Okay, this sounds like slightly more boring Paradise City.
Yes, like that.
So give me a Skid Row primer. Who of note was in this band? I don't know any.
The only one I know is Sebastian Bach. He was the singer.
Oh yeah.
And he's prolific. He likes to talk about everything.
I watched his reality show. That was Monkey Business. Here's Slave to the Grind.
Slave to the Grind.
Gonna quit my job. I'm glad my imitation for all hair metal is just David Lee Roth. He's like the impish figurehead of all glam hair rock.
Right. Well, he's kind of the guy that invented it all. I mean,
I'm here to f*** your girlfriend.
Yeah, everything that happened after the 70s was because David Lee Roth said, grow your hair out, chicks like it. Wear their clothes. Steal them. It. Wear your girlfriend's clothes, and then don't tell anybody that's your girlfriend.
That hippy dippy bullshit.
I learned something interesting while we're listening to Sebastian Bach. in his last friggin' show. Ploisun. I just found out from something on TV that dude was diabetic, and they used to live off of pizza, and he used to have to do the math. That's how secretly smart the whatever his name is. He was diabetic, but he couldn't afford his insulin, so he had to figure out how much pizza he could eat at a time.
Brett Michaels.
Without screwing up his
rock and roll.
Because
figuring out my blood sugar, rock and roll, man, yeah.
I feel like Sebastian Bach. I have this Skid Row story where somebody was on him one time and just going, Sebastian Bach came from a family with had money and stuff like that. He was never hungry. He doesn't know what the hell you're talking about. He never had to starve for anything. And I always think, everybody who's ever been famous had somebody paying for them to be alive.
The Rolling Stones.
Excellent example.
Here's The Threat.
Not as good, but you know.
Yeah, I think Ploisun doesn't even deserve to be mentioned or categorized as a glam rock band, because Skid Row is so far beyond them in terms of quality. It's just it's not even fair.
In what way? I just wonder. I'm just asking. Yeah, you think the music sounds better, or
because I think Ploisun fucking sucks ass.
Okay.
Maybe there's a separate category of monster ballad bands. I don't know, guys who are just sort of using the trappings to get laid, but they didn't have the chops. I think Skid Row had the chops.
Okay, I just remember somebody telling me one time that was a musician that they really liked if you could. What's it called when everybody stops at the same time and starts again? Like a cut or I don't know. All right,
stopping.
Fine. It doesn't matter. But I remember somebody told me, "Oh, your ability to know what each other is doing all the time is amazing. That's important." And so I use that as one of the parameters of if I don't know anything else, at least I knew that. They were on the same page all the time. Because you can like Van Halen for guitar solos or whatever, but not everybody could do a friggin' Eddie Van Halen solo, right? So is that where your cutoff is and you just hate everything that they can't do that or whatever? You get past the Van Halen era into the 90s and it's do you have to have a guitar solo? And this is the last album I remember where there was lots of guitar solos, the old school.
Yeah, a special little window for it in the song and not something that's arbitrary.
Right, where you just, the guitarist literally went off by himself and came up with a... Because I remember that reading about that in the 60s. That was a really important, having a guitar solo in your song. That was the pinnacle of, people are going to notice. This makes it musical. I wonder what in the world Skid Row could have done in the popular music genre if they didn't just got thrown to the side because their name was Skid Row. It's Nirvana and... You guys suck. Get out of here, And I think the only guitar-based music that got out of there alive was
Quicksand
Metallica. Oh, Quicksand Jesus. Yeah, this is terrible. Now we're running into my biggest problem with albums.
Yeah, that's just crazy. This came out the same year as Nevermind.
Mm-hmm. It's literally the end of hair metal.
Did it literally just coincide with, like, drugs going in and out of fashion? It just went from cocaine to heroin. And, like, we don't get this hairspray stuff anymore.
Glam meant something in the 80s. Like, it was what you lived. It wasn't like, like, some people would, like, go, like, freak out and be like, oh my god, I love these bands. And, you know, I was always, like, standing to the side and going, what? You know, I like a couple of their songs. What are you freaking out about? But then grunge, like, came out and it was like a, like, polished sound just went off to the left.
Yeah.
Like, and everything is all of a sudden needed to sound fuzzy and...
Yeah, hold on. A brief interlude here. We can do a talking over WWE. This wrestler here, Shayna Baszler, this is her low point.
Oh.
She gets beat by this Reginald dude. This is basically her hitting rock bottom.
Oh no.
I don't care for her, but I feel sorry for her. Like, this is just embarrassing crap.
Yeah. It's time for her to reinvent her character. Just so quick saying Jesus.
Like, she's a former MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Like, all she does is just, like, choke people to death. I think some people... Stop that! It's like digging in my pocket.
No. You're done.
But, yeah, like, with the hair metal... With, like, hair metal, like... what was I saying? I don't know if it was rooted in much authenticity to begin with, but I think it was mostly just... I think it was mostly riding the wave of, like, oh, this is really exciting. Like, we're like a really effeminate-looking biker gang that gets tons of pussy, and we do a lot of cocaine. So, like, that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it quickly devolved into, like, poser monster ballad shit. So, So people just wanted a depressed heroin junkie to repackage 60s pop songs.
I think when you said, like, cocaine to heroin, that might have had a lot, like, less to do with the drug itself and more to do with the culture of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, how the cocaine wasn't as popular anymore, and it was more popular to... There's less about partying and more about, like, oh, I need to get my music so I can get enough money to go back and hang out at my hotel and get f***ed up. I wonder if that has something to do with...
Like, the music was there to perpetuate the lifestyle.
Yeah. I graduated from high school in the cocaine, basically, epidemic in, Peoria. And within a few years, it was just, like, nobody gave a shit about that anymore. It's funny you said that, because I grab onto that and go, that's something to think about. Like, how did everything change so fast? Because it flipped on a dime.
Psycho Love.
Another crap.
Commercial.
Pause. Right. Nirvana's a good example, though, because this is very slick and produced, but hard. Like, it's almost like this album is the last gasp of LA. This is edgy. And then Seattle going, no, you have no idea what edgy is. Let me show you what edgy is.
Like another point of reference would be like Faith No More.
The 80s. Yeah, that was good. 1989.
Like, when was their first album?
1989. Oh, I love that song. One song.
Holy shit. We Care a Lot was 1985. Wow. I thought that was, like, late, like, much later, like 89, 90.
I remember the first Nirvana album, I didn't realize when I got it that it was any big deal. I didn't understand. I like Soundgarden better. I like Soundgarden.
Better than
Have you ever heard Bad Motorfinger?
Yeah, it's
it
great.
Came out about the same time. It's like the greatest album. It's just like everything on it's so awesome.
You like them better than who?
The first, the at the time, I liked it better than Nevermind.
Oh, I like it better than Nevermind.
But
I like Audio Slave better than...
Now I understand Nevermind better. Like, I took that as like a pop album, kind of. Like, it was, at the time, it was on the pop 101.5. It was like on that all the time. And I was just like, well, I have this band that I heard about, and I went and got it, and it was Soundgarden from the same place. And I was just like, why isn't anybody talking about this? And it's like they're on 120 minutes all the time, and but do you understand when you're listening to this in the background how these guys almost found their sound, and then they just like nobody wanted anything to do with Skid Row. You're like, oh, you're too 80s, you're done, bye-bye, we're out. It's funny how they almost have the sound. They almost have the sound. It's music. It's like it's all just changing a couple of pedals, right?
I don't know, like one of my main problems with hair metal is like the bass line is almost identical on every fucking song.
Oh, I love this song.
It's the Paradise City bass line that's like that makes up like 90% of
this song's great.
Hair metal bass line.
There's nothing you say that I want to hear. Ah, there's the end of hair metal. So get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. So anyway, it's funny. I was right there, and I can tell you anything you want to know about that time because Pearl Jam and Nirvana were doing this slow burn on everybody all the time, but there was still some, hey babe, but there was this slow burn of like them building up and it's getting more and more popular across the country. You hear a little bit more, and then all this stuff was just disappearing. Like Skid Row was just disappearing. And I remember talking with people who are as old as me and going, that's like one of my favorite albums, you know? And it came out with this came out the same year as Metallica.
Yeah,
and somehow Metallica made it over the hump. Like they got to continue making albums somehow. Yeah. And these guys just didn't quite make the sound right, and it didn't.
Because Metallica had like prog elements in there of it felt fresh because
themes and
like they could weave a fine tapestry with heavy metal and hard rock where I think like hard rock kind of it went from like the 70s Run for the Hills. What's their names? Run through the hills.
Iron Maiden.
So you had like your Iron Maidens and Black Sabbaths that kind of like, and then you had.
Didn't matter who was in the band. Didn't matter who was singing. Didn't matter who wrote the songs. Is that what you're talking about? Like they just kept.
No. I think you had that style that it was more rooted in like a sophisticated progressive type of songwriting. The more progressive elements like resurfaced in Metallica, in like that newer brand of metal.
I think it's interesting
because this like I can recognize this as fun and technically and okay and well produced, but it bores the shit out of me because I need either like a funk element in there, like a Rage Against the Machine or Faith No More. I need like some kind of progressive element like Metallica or. the other band, I keep forgetting their names. You keep saying.
You just reminded me of how the one thing that I liked that Metallica did that nobody else does is they put out that Saint Anger album, and I liked it, and everybody hated it.
I never heard it.
It came out and everybody just shit all over it, and I got it and I listened to it and I'm like, except for the part where it's like an hour long again, like they just have it's too long, like somebody needed to come in and edit their shit. I gotta tell you, I think it's different, it's interesting, and they tried to U2 Achtung Baby, they tried to do that with metal. Like, they tried to do something completely different, and they just got shit all over. So, right after that, they went right back to the same shit they always make. And, I mean, there's nothing like the public to tell you, F you, make what I want to hear. I don't want to hear anything new from you. You know?
But enough time has passed. I mean, I'd have to listen to it, but it feels like enough time has passed where, like, generally people warm up to something they initially didn't understand, but, like, I feel like
Metallica fans still hate that album, and I'm just like, I kind of like it. I don't hate it. Let's put it that way. I mean, I have two songs. I love Saint Anger and Frantic, and I don't understand why people don't like it. It's of a time and a sound. It's like this album. I think that's what I go back to. It's of a time. It's of a sound.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say what happened with, the Hollywood glam. It just ran its course because it's too rooted in classic rock in that you have a blues boogie and just sort of a generic, straightforward rocker.
Yeah.
I think it just got stale real quick.
I think that was the thing I liked about this album that Skid Row fans didn't like, and then anybody that didn't like Skid Row fans were not going to let it happen. Like, they were not going to be okay with it. That's what I think about this album. Because they weren't going to let it be what it was, just an evolution of...
Yeah, because the thing I've really learned to love about Van Halen is it was like they were just writing whatever song they wanted to write and would kind of steer it in the direction of hard rock.
Yeah.
Where
Vaguely.
Generally, they would just go for any idea and then just steer it into the production and the way they're playing it, like into a hard way of playing it, where it just feels like, for me, most hair metal just feels like a cookie cutter template that they're trying to vaguely make sound different from track to track, just so it's not exactly the same song. Oh yeah, Alexa Bliss and her Devil Doll. This is the world's longest running pointless gag in WWE history. This is it's going nowhere at all.
What did she do? Like, rip her fucking pelvis out or something? Why doesn't she wrestle anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. She hasn't wrestled in like 5 or 6 months, I think. This is Creep Show.
Oh, we found Creep Show finally. And Sheamus.
Oh, I didn't even know he was on here, because I watched the edited version of this on Hulu. So they cut this match out.
Because you didn't spend money on it.
Yeah, I don't know why they edited it down other than just to keep you.
Yeah, for time? Who gives a shit? Everybody's got all the time in the world now.
Just to keep you incentivized to keep you USA or something.
I'm sure they choose.
Wait, did they solve teen smoking? Because they just exclusively go after vaping now.
It's just vaping now.
So, like...
Because teens can just order vapes and get them delivered to their house.
So teens do not smoke cigarettes anymore?
Nope, they just vape.
Huh. That's good.
That's been solved, and yet they just came up with another thing. Ha ha ha! This is a big surprise, because I gotta tell you, I grew up in the cigarette era, and yet nobody where I grew up, I didn't even know until I was like 17. I could have went to a bar anytime I wanted to and just said, hey, give me a Bud Light, and they would have just given me a Bud Light because they didn't give a like, I didn't know that. Like, my parents made it sound like I should be something very scared to go, like, do. It was like walk into a bar and order a drink, and the first time I did it was obviously because of a girl, and I did it, and you walk in and you go, I will have a beer, please, and the guy's like, what kind of beer, you retard? I will have one of those things on those stems.
Uno cerveza, por favor.
And he literally, like, walked me through it. He was like, would you like... like, I will have a Bud Light, please.
I want the one from the pulley thing.
He still gave it to me. I don't know what... Like, the guy was trying to illegally serve me.
Listening to Skid Row.
Oh, sweet.
Well, we're almost done, aren't we?
Yeah. I remember in high school, there was this guy in, like, the class... This guy in the class above me. He was only in our school for, like, a few months. But he looked like he was 35 in high school. And he would just tell us how he would go to this hotel bar and just drink. Because he looked like he was 35 in high school.
Yeah.
His name was Thane. I wonder...
My favorite was my dad had a Cadillac. And everybody knew it was my dad because he had a Cadillac. It was kind of distinctive looking. It was kind of like gold colored or whatever. And... so whenever I had my dad's Cadillac, I could go through the drive-thru and order whatever I wanted from the drunk guy doing the drive-thru liquor store. I could order whatever I wanted, and it didn't matter. Like, he would just give it to me. He's like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm doing great, because I already had this voice. So it didn't really matter. And he's just like, you're an old guy. And I'm like, you too.
Here's the obligatory ballad in a darkened room.
Right, they still threw a ballad on here. That's kind of funny because they'd already thrown that away by this time, right? It's like there's not a lot of ballads for a while. They pop back up again. Remember that band Firehouse in the 90s?
No.
Well, you don't have to. What are you guys throwing on me? Why is my arm wet?
So we're doing this album. I know. Ziggy!
Stop with the humping!
That's gotta make the podcast. Stop humping! That's what Mommy says all the time. Whatever anybody does, stop humping! But you're gonna leave all the dog humping in, right?
Yep. Just set up a dog humping cam.
It could be a thing.
If we ever get to 35 subscribers.
God damn, these ballads are terrible. I hated the hair metal bands.
Oh yeah.
That just did ballads.
Keep gaining and losing one.
I hated them. Hated all of
the song's over. Here's Riot Act.
Oh, Chris likes that one. You want this?
No, you should listen. I'm just listening to you guys.
No, I'm good. I gotta pee.
Yeah, I do not care. Like all of like 99% of hair metal is just so far beyond everything that I like in music. I do not give a shit. Like, I like some of the campy stuff. Like, I like Twisted Sister. Like, I love the song Burn in Hell. Like, if the band knows they're having fun...
Ow.
Like, too much of it just seems really posery, like, yeah, we're the bad boys! Fucking doing cocaine and getting bitches!
I just love all the bad boys who wear so much lipstick. That was more lipstick than I ever wore in high school. And I wore a lot of makeup.
I like the few groups who were like wink wink, nudge nudge about it. Where like Van Halen was always on like the periphery of all this, but
they weren't.
But they were having too much fun to actually really be in the eye of the storm.
Yeah, they weren't hair metal.
No,
they weren't metal. I don't know exactly what that the word is for it, but
like
they were on the edges of hair metal.
Yeah, like they were doing enough that I think put them on like the periphery, but
yeah, like they had enough of the flash.
Mostly they were just
nowhere
too
near
good.
Enough makeup.
Mostly they were too good to be lumped in with most of these bands. I'm trying to think of a genre of music I like less. I guess some maybe modern country music, meaning all country music after 1982.
I'm serious. Really good hair metal is all about. I work at a record store. This guy won't get off my tits.
This is Mudsucker. About eating buttholes.
They would just write these songs all the time about I hate working at Hardee's. We can't call it that. Stop reading me the riot act.
I'm sorry. Mud kicker, not mud sucker.
Yeah, mudsucker is a whole other thing.
Yeah, if one fast food item represented hair metal, to me it would be the Frisco melt from Hardee's.
I love the Frisco
That's
melt from Hardee's.
That's the only good sandwich.
Then take that as you will.
I mean, it's no Frisco melt from Steak and Shake. But.
Discarded.
I really thought
Hardee's
I was onto something with
rappers.
the hair metal is a bunch of guys that worked in fast food restaurants and finally got famous. And there's I want to tell you all about what it's like working in a fast food fucking restaurant and why you should pay them $15 an hour. You piece of shit. You whiny little bitches.
This God is my witness. I will never eat another Carl's Junior Star Burger.
No, I eat there, but I want to tip people when I work there.
No more Del Taco.
Yeah, what was that gross ass thing? It was their Big Mac, the Carl's Jr. It was the
star something, the star.
So
the
gross.
Star Mac or something. Yeah, we're gonna slap some mayonnaise on here. With some pickle relish and some ketchup.
I at least appreciate Hardee's honesty. They're like, come get it, you fat
No, that's Kentucky Fried Chicken. Come get your bucket of shit, you fat
Well, at least they don't have a buffet anymore.
Oh my god, their buffet was so stupid because they didn't have anything in it. It was would you like to eat it at our all-you-can-eat buffet? It's wings. It was wingtips and
my grandma
drummies.
Loved KFC buffet for some reason.
Jesus.
And she wouldn't even eat anything from it. Her stomach was thimble size, but she loved buffets.
Yeah, that's our grandma.
She would get a nugget of corn, a teaspoon of mashed potatoes, and then take it home. She would have one bite.
Oh, can we bitch about that for a second? Because my grandma used to insist that I take her to Jason's Deli because they had a salad bar, and all she would eat was 5 of those giant black olives. And she's like, I'm full. I'm like, no, there's a sandwich and soup coming, goddammit. You ordered the triple decker or whatever the hell it's called. And then I would sit there and I would eat a salad bar and I'd not think about it.
Sorry, this is the I just got broken bell.
Uh-oh.
There's only so much I can hear the Paradise City bass riff. Oh my god, it's just the dooba 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 boop.
That was all there was until
wasted time.
All until 1991, and then grunge, and then that's all you got to hear. I worked in an office, and I had to hear Gin Blossoms and.
Don't you dare say a bad word about the JGB.
I had to listen to Gin Blossoms and that second Pearl Jam album, Don't Call Me Daughter. There's nothing like calling people and telling them they need to pay their fucking bill. And, don't call me daughter, I say tell me, And they're like, "Are you listening to Pearl Jam and collecting on this bill?" like, yeah, I totally am, bitch. And then I looked down and it was like a local shit. They're gonna come and fucking bitch.
There went like full mouth paralysis Eddie Vedder where he can't articulate at all.
Did he ever pronounce anything?
I mean, no, but
I've heard him speak though. He can do it.
It's like, hello, I am.
Oh, and
Edward,
he can sing too when
Edward
he
Vedder.
wants to.
Yeah.
Remember? Oh, where can my baby be?
Don't call me daughter.
That was one of the weirdest covers of all time. I think it was a hit too.
But
yeah.
Oh, where can my baby be? It was like 99.
Final Kiss?
2000.
Last Kiss?
Mm-hmm.
Was it supposed to be? Was ironic?
Yeah.
That's how it was the first
time. Carol fucking dip wrote it. Where can my
But the original version is also like way too upbeat.
I always have to remind myself that she did write one song that I liked. I can't remember what it is, but she did write one song.
She wrote Natural Woman.
Yeah.
But she couldn't even do it justice herself.
See, we got into the part of the album where I can't even listen to it. Should
I just figured you guys were almost done by the time I got here.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's over. It's done.
I was okay with this up until track 9. Up through track 9.
I like Riot Act.
These last 3 are a total flatline.
What is it with these headphones?
Alright,
Final thoughts?
Better than Who Bagged the Cat, or Who Let the Cat Out of the Bag.
Ooh, look what the cat dragged.
Hey, the dog's out.
I'm gonna give this a 5.9.
Yeah,
out of 10.
I'm giving it a ridiculous 8 out of 10 because, god damn it, it was the last one. It was the last album that I liked that was a hair metal band.
This came out the same year as Nevermind.
Wow.
I've told you that before.
She's vagina humping me.
She's not.
She has no idea what you're talking about.
I'm going to give this one a rating. It is 1.5 Bret Michaels.
There you go.
Where were they when I got here?
You're messing up everybody.
Peacing out. I can't handle any more of that. The guy screams too much.
It's all over, folks.